Okay, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasha'Allah. Koholoyim La Yahweh. Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Bahashim Rchaha Hadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and just want to save the water to all you H.I.M and Akwaf. That's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan the Waf. Just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And this is an article in MoneyWise. It says Snap collapse threatens Walmart, Kroger, and other retailers. Millions could see price increases as a result. And this is something that we've been going into because there's a ripple effect. Because Esau, he's not trying to lose. That nigga don't give a fuck. He gon' pass off all the prices on to the consumer. As you can see, this is Walmart picture right here. You can see the self-scanning hookup, which is going into this market of Beauty and the Beast, man. So pretty much, they're going to start off the article with everything, if you're familiar with the history of what's going on, as far as the shutdowns and shit. So we just want to get to the point of the article, as far as like the retailers, because this is just pretty much a repeat of what we already know. The 42 million Americans directly impacted, all that good stuff. You can read through all that information. I mean, that's something that's been ongoing, so it's not like people don't know that. But any information as far as that you can go into. But I just wanted to get to the point of the impact on the retailers and also the new SNAP benefits from the big beautiful bill. The stipulations are about to kick off too. So let's just say all this kicks back in. There are still stipulations that's going to keep people from. It's still going to affect a lot of people anyway. With those new laws or implementations or what you have to do to actually continue to get the benefits, right? Okay, so it says the impact on retailers. Food stamps are not just a benefit for vulnerable families, but a key source of revenue for retail across the country. So these are your corporate welfare holes. You know what I'm saying? Because they get to talking about Jake, like they just the only ones, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the only ones sucking up the damn system. But let's see how much Walmart stands to lose, from this if everything continues. It says Walmart alone accounts for 24% of total SNAP spending. That's like a quarter of that shit, man. That's like a quarter of all spending goes to Walmart. That's crazy. Some damn Edomites. According to the market research data firm, that means that if funding for the program lapses, the retail giant stands to lose an estimated $2 billion. So this is just one family of people that own this company. So who are the real welfare queens? These Edomites, man. We've been saying it all along. These so-called white people. Wolf Research Analysis, Spencer Hanuss, estimates that discount retailers like Dollar General, Dollar Tree could also see a hit to mid-single-digit revenue if the program is suspended. Kroger and Costco's are also exposed, although the impact on grocery prices is difficult to predict with precision. David Ortega, professor of food economics at Michigan State University, told Reuters that some retailers could raise prices to preserve their thin margins if SNAP funding lapses. And of course they're going to do that. The shit going up anyway. And guess what? When those prices go up, so let's say everything go back to normal. They're not going to take those prices back down. The prices going to stay the same. Or even go up. They're not going to go lower. In other words, ordinary families could face higher grocery bills to cover the shortfall. So this is going to hit everybody. I know the elder was talking about, if you can get you a couple of extra things, you can afford it. Just grab you a couple of extra groceries, man. Throw in your, a couple of extra non-perishables rather, dry goods. You know what I'm saying? Beans, rice, canned goods, and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? If you got a freezer, stock that shit up, a little something if you can. But we're not relying on stuff like this. We are dependent upon Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai for our daily bread. And that's in the Lord's Prayer. If anybody is familiar, let's just get it. Okay, so you can get the account in Matthew 6 or the account in Luke chapter 11. But let's get it in Matthew chapter 6 with the Lord's Prayer, right? Let me start at verse 9. It says, after this manner, therefore pray ye, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. In the NLT it says, give us today the food we need. See that? So, and this is what we're looking for. It says, let me see, give us today our food for today, or give us today our food for tomorrow. Okay, but yeah, it says, and for, of course, I just wanted to get the point in verse 11. But we pray to Yahweh about Shem Yahweh Shai. You should be praying the Lord's Prayer every day anyway. And forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. See, those evil temptations. See, you got people out here talking about robbing, stealing, and rioting through fucking Walmarts. These, acting a goddamn clown. Just pretty much snitching on them damn selves before they even do the crime. We're beyond that. We want to be beyond any temptation that comes through. Because, anything can be tempting. You know what I'm saying? We are in this flesh. So we should be praying the Lord's Prayer every day. Again, it says, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. And a part of that evil is, the things that Yahweh Shai spoke of in Matthew 24, when the disciples asked him what would be happening in the end days, or the end of this kingdom, or the end of this world, which is going into a kingdom, which is the end of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man's way of things, his system, this shit that everybody going through right now, his whole world government. The disciples was asking, when will these things end? What will be happening when they do? And, the Lord, he spoke on, some very evil times, man. Wars, rumors of wars, famines, pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places. Because famines come with hunger. Pestilence, comes with disease, you know what I'm saying, type of deal. When people get hungry and they get to a point of that point of, because you can get hungry to the point of sickness. You know what I'm saying? So, we're praying to Yahweh about Shem Yahweh Shai that those things don't come upon our household. Pray over your household. You know what I'm saying? Keep you some incense, man. Keep you some anointing oil, man. Anoint yourself. Continue to pray, man. We can't stress that enough, you know what I'm saying? Because the prayers of the righteous avail much. Prayers go through, man. Yahweh is hearing the prayers. And this is a very special prayer to pray because it covers everything overall. If you can't pray anything, it only takes you a couple of seconds to pray this particular prayer, right? But let's see what else they had in here. So basically, they have how to prepare in here. Where was it at? Okay, it says workers are impacted too. Yep. Nearly 1/3 of Amazon warehouse workers relied on at least one publicly funded assistance program with all the money this guy making, such as SNAP. Put simply, if the funds run dry or face reduction in November, the ripple effects could indirectly impact far more people than just SNAP recipients. Yeah, of course it is. I know all these, I know me and the beloved brother Allah, we go to this supermarket in the hood. He always be talking about, y'all got some pretty decent choices in here, whatever. We kind of grabbed up on a few things last time he was in town. But like a spot like that, I can imagine is right next door to, the little mini projects. So, and it's nothing but Jake. It's nothing but Eve. You know what I'm saying? There is no other, I've noticed that some Northern Kingdom had moved in the neighborhood, quite a bit. But overall, if shit get bad, they're going to ramshack all that shit. It's a Domino's, what is it, a Little Caesar's Pizza. You know how these heathen, they set up a whole shop. They have a supermarket, motherfuckers got a laundromat next to that shit. They got a liquor store. Then of course they got that, a pizza spot. Little shit like that for Jake to just go and spend all their fucking money at. So when things hit the fans, it's gonna be crucial, man. A lot of these people, they gonna make a way. These holidays is rolling around too. So you brothers walk circumspectly, man, when you out and about. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention to your surroundings. Because motherfuckers see you with that buggy of groceries, man. You might get you're gonna hear about a lot of people getting robbed for that buggy of damn groceries, man. Okay, so they got in here what they say how to prepare. which, we're praying to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai for, everything anyway. But it says, if you or your loved ones rely on food stamps, you could consider alternatives for the weeks ahead. Look for local, state, and municipal programs that offer food assistance or reach out to the local food bank. You could also consider community pantries and church lunches to plug the gap. If you have the opportunity, stock up on non-perishable items with any available funds. If your family doesn't rely on the program, consider bolstering your grocery budget. It's difficult to say if retailers will raise prices to offset the loss in revenue. No, they're going to do it. But if they do, you may need a tighter budget for groceries. Yep. Also consider donating to a local food bank to help the community. The SNAP crisis shows how tightly linked our economy is. Every act of support matters. Okay, so and I mean, these damn Edomites, man. Let me see. It was another. Trying to see. I was trying to see if this other article. I just seen the other one. Salaki, I'm gonna have to find it. Okay, so yeah, it says new SNAP restrictions go into place amid shutdown drama. So a lot of people probably done forgot about this. But the new supplemental SNAP assistance program rules are going into effect on Saturday, which was, would have been today, I think. Even as uncertainty reigns regarding whether benefits will be issued through November. The United States Department of Agriculture, USDA website, where millions of Americans can review their options and apply, details how the well has run dry to issue program benefits. Atop the page, the USDA blames Senate Democrats for benefits not being issued starting Saturday. Senate Democrats have now voted 13 times to not fund the food stamp programs, also known as, we know, all that good stuff. Let's get to the point, though. While SNAP benefits will not be issued until funding continues, President Trump One Big Beautiful Bill Act also places new restrictions into effect starting Saturday. These changes are expected to push some people out of the program after an estimated $186 billion federal spending cut over the next decade. But I bet you they ain't gonna cut Israel. They're not gonna cut shit to these wars. They're not gonna cut, shit that benefits them. Able-bodied adults without dependents, here we go, could see the biggest change in needing to prove they worked at least 80 hours a month and pursuing an education or in a training program to remain qualified for SNAP. So that's going to kill a lot of shit. Now, mind you, let's go back into what we was just talking about as far as like these retailers, these grocery stores, and the people that it's going to affect them as well. So it's going to be a ripple effect. So things are going to get a lot more expensive. If Trump throw this, he was talking about throwing some money at some of this tariff money, $1,000, $2,000, like some little surplus checks or whatever the fuck. If he do that, that's going to send this bitch into hyperinflation, and everything is going to go through the roof anyway. Okay, but it says, should they not have proof, they will receive SNAP. Should they not have proof, they will receive SNAP benefits for a total of 3 months maximum. Additionally, any able adults under 65 must prove they are working to continue receiving benefits. Parents with dependents under 14 are now exempt from working requirements, whereas before it applied to parents with dependents under 18. See, so that shit right there is going to be something in itself too. That's going to send a lot of these they already out here doing their thing anyway. A lot of these little young ladies out here doing their thing, if you know what I mean. A lot of these little young jakes, they going to be out here doing their thing too, if you know what I mean. It's going to be a bunch of damn robbery, thieving, sexual diseases going to go up, all kinds of shit. Young adults, veterans, and homeless people must now meet work requirements to receive over 3 months of benefits. Another change in effect will impact non-citizen eligibility for SNAP for immigrants, including non-citizen U.S. nationals, lawful permanent residents, Cuban and Haitian entrants, and those who are undocumented. State agencies will have to review household circumstances to take appropriate action during an immigrant certification for benefits period before notifying that individuals that they are no longer eligible for SNAP, according to the USDA website. Refugees granted asylum and human trafficking survivors, meanwhile, will lose their benefits, according to a memo. God damn. Whew. What remains an issue is if the USDA will use its contingency funds to allow SNAP benefits to be paid for through November. On Friday, a federal judge blocked the Trump administration from cutting off SNAP benefits. U.S. District Judge John McConnell rejected the argument that emergency funding can only be used for they're impacted by natural disasters. Yeah, these people are some really hateful, dirty ass people, man. So just know, what we don't have to really go no further. You know, hey, shit about to get nasty out here, and it's going to affect a lot of people, man. I can't just say women, but mainly women because they're the ones that's benefiting off it the most. The elderly, you know what I'm saying? Of course, they get it too. Um, and it's just gonna be a lot of it's gonna send the crime rate through the roof, man. And Esau, he's prepared for that. You know what I'm saying? He already know what he's trying to do. They're causing a disorder so they can bring the shit back into order. They already, issuing, they're sending out that military to all these different places and shit like that, especially democratic places. But let me get this 2 Corinthians 2:11. And it reads, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. See, we're not ignorant of the fact that he's creating a situation where he can drive the people to Revelation 13:16, which let me get that. Because this is what it's all boiling down to. They're driving the people to suffer so they can beg for relief. And through that relief is going to be that microchipping. Revelation 13:16, and he calls it for all both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So it's going to be some chipping going on, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Because all these countries are, they're all in it together, basically. It's kind of like a race as to who's going to, pretty much have the overall control over it. But it's, it's just coming from the top, the elite on down, You got the UK Prime Minister Stammer was talking about you're not going to be able to even work over there without the digital ID. He's like, it's going to be mandatory. So you're not going to be able to just work. I mean, if you can't work, of course you can't eat. So a lot of people are going to have to fall for it. Now, is that digital ID the actual microchip? No, it's not. But that's a step closer to it. And then, they can easily just say, well, hey, this is not working. We've been having a lot of lost cell phones. People can't keep up with it. A bunch of old bull. People never lose damn cell phones. Just like people don't lose wallets like that. You know what I'm saying? But they're going to come up with a way to say, well, if this is ineffective, we're going to have to take it a step further. And they're going to, do some mandatory shit as far as putting a microchip in you, man. The system is already in place. It's already set up. All they need to do is just cause the chaos pretty much overall. Send this shit spiraling into a civil war, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? People get to scrapping, fighting against each other, whatever. And then they're going to come through as if they're the savior and try and bring some order back from the chaos. How Esau gets down. We'll see how it goes. Me speaking as a man, but let me just get one more. It is what it is, man. Just be safe, as you can. Prayer goes a long way, as I'm telling you. Pray without ceasing. Right now, there's no way you should be getting up out of your bed and not be praying throughout the day. You should be praying to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua as your personal navigator. For real. Ephesians 5:15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. So be circumspect, because right now with shit like this going on, it's going to change the mindset of people. This is going to be a whole nother spirit that's about to come into the world. Those spirits of vengeance are about to be out here real strong. You know what I'm saying? Because people are going to get what they're trying to get, and they don't give a fuck. These people don't care. They don't have no integrity. They're already doing a bunch of weirdo shit anyway. It's not like they've been lawful to begin with. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing for them to go out here and really just crack jaws, man, crack heads, and take what it is that they feel like they should have. You know what I'm saying? They don't give a fuck who they hurt. So, just be circumspect, man. So I'm going to end out there. Just update on the SNAP benefits and shit, man. So with that, hey, Shalom, hey, and these wars, rumors of wars, man, is getting tight, man. So everything is coming into play. Everything is coming into play with that, Shalom.